Looks like I'm talking to a wall, but okay. And recording. Hello class, and welcome to the recap video of Art 101 Week 2. Today we'll be learning about textures and a little bit of coloring. This is a continuation to Class 1, so if you haven't already gone to Class 1 or watched the video for Class 1, please make sure you do that before this video. Alright, so last class we learned how to find the shapes and objects and how to sketch them. So that was step 1. The next step of your art is going to be colors. So in between this step, you can do line art. It is not required for some artists. Not everybody needs to do a fine line in between. So we're going to go ahead and just skip that for now. We'll probably go over it next class, but we're going to teach you the first method in which you won't need line art. But you can if you want to. So we're going to start off by examining some artworks like last time. Let me go ahead and, bring them down real quickly. So stay right here, please. Again, sorry for the video, people who have to watch this and watch me move things around. Okay, if you guys want to come up to the front and take a look at these artworks. The first step that we already taught you guys is step 1 over here. So these are the steps into making a finished artwork. So going from left to right, that's how we started the artwork and basically how it finishes in the end. So here we have our sketch. This is what I asked you guys to do last class, was to find the shapes and objects, use a light gray color in order to just map out what you're drawing, okay? Today's steps, what I'm going to be teaching you guys is base colors. So if you see right here, there is just color splotches everywhere and a little bit of textures. The first step is going to be your color blotching and then the textures, but I don't have any perfect example of that. So really quickly, for the people in my class real quick, where are you seeing textures on, take a look at the final drawing, on this drawing? What is making the drawing look like it's not flat, or what makes it give it more detail? Yeah.
Lighting.
Yeah, lighting is definitely one. The biggest thing I want you to look at right now is technique-wise. So lighting is always a technique, but there's something I do specifically in this drawing to make it not look flat and to blend the colors. Dots, that's perfect. So what this is called is stippling. This is one of the 3 texture techniques we'll teach you how to do in Rec Room. This one right here is the most useful but time-consuming method in Rec Room. As you know, we don't have a blur option, nor do we have a blending option. So this is what artists use in Rec Room in order to blend colors together or to, add shading and such. So go ahead, take a quick look at the drawings. Let me go ahead for the video real quickly to show step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So again, for the video, this is the sketch. This is the color blotching with a little bit of the textures. This is the progress with more textures. So you can see in like the sky added more, the grass has more, each of the breeze and the bushes all have sketch of it now. And this is the final one. Yes, that is a Pokemon character in the corner. I don't know what Pokemon it is. It was for a room.
Sunkern.
I'm glad you know. I had no idea. Perfect.
It's a pal from Pal World.
Oh. All right. So now you guys know the first technique, which is, again, say the name. Come on. What's the name of it?
Textures.
It is textures. You're not wrong. This one, though, with the dots is specifically called is stippling. All right, so let me go ahead.
Stippling.
Stippling. Yep, there you go.
Stippling.
Objects. Sorry about the board. Let me go ahead and bring down the second example. This one I do not have the progress photos for, so we're just going to take a look at the drawing itself. So again, feel free to come on forward. Come take a look at this. If you don't recognize the person in the photo, that's actually your co-teacher. This was a photo of Kenzie I drew for her. But go ahead and take a look at the drawing and tell me, there is a little bit of stippling on here, but there is something else I do with the colors. Uncas, do you see it?
Colors.
No, there's something else I do with the drawing. It's similar to making dots all over the drawing, but it's something else I did in order to add textures.
This stuff? There's a little shading?
Yeah, but that's really close actually. But I want you to specifically look at the penguin and look at her hair. What did I do to make it look like it was strands more than just a flat color?
Lines.
Yes, there you go. That is the second texture we're going to teach you guys today. This is called hatching. That's where you make multiple lines stacked on top of each other, all going the same direction. One.
That's
moment,
funny
please.
because that's how you also make penguins.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, nope. This is the second technique. This one is mostly used for adding texture onto animals or hair, but it also can be used to blend colors as well. So if you want to go from one color to another, this is a good way to do it. As you guys can see, I did it in the fur for the penguin and her hair. You can see me moving between colors doing it. So to go ahead and take a good big look at the drawing, to figure out how I did it and such, and then I'm going to get to teaching you guys a little bit. All right. So feel free to stay up front because I am going to ask you guys to watch me do something. And then I'll have you guys try it on your own. Let me go ahead and erase the board real quickly.
Hatching?
Yes, that was called hatching.
Hatching. Okay.
Like hatching an egg.
All right, let
Like
me
a
go
penguin
ahead and
egg.
erase the board a little bit.
Just kidding.
It is kind of like a
I
penguin
made the
egg.
joke twice. It didn't land.
I love it. I wasn't listening. I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
No,
I can
no,
take a
it's the
hint.
first one.
Okay,
Like,
so let me go ahead and write these down for you real quickly. So we had our first one, which was stippling. And that was what, you guys?
Dots.
dots.
That is dots. That's correct. So just like this, just dots all over your screen. Hundreds of them. That's stippling. Our second one that I taught you, Uncas, what was it called?
Hatching.
Hatching. Good job. And what did we do to get hatching?
Lines.
Lines. That's good. Specifically lines all going the same way. So think of it like this. The third one that I didn't get an example to show you, but I want you guys to learn today, is called cross-hatching.
Is that like crossbreeding? Just kidding.
Not completely wrong. All right. Does anyone want to take a guess as to how you do cross-hatching?
Lines in the different directions.
Yep, there we go. So cross-hatching is where you have lines going one way, but you also have lines going the opposite way. So kind of like a tic-tac-toe board. So that's called cross-hatching. This is really good for blending colors as well. So these are your three methods. What I want you guys to do right now is please go to your boards and draw 3 circles on your board. Remember the technique I taught you guys with going over the circle multiple times to make a better circle? Try to use those if you can. Practice that a little bit.
Does it matter what color?
No, you're going to color it in here in a minute too, so
Okay.
don't stress it too much. So just 3 circles in the middle of your board. If you need to scale up your boards, feel free to. Perfect. Yep, 3 circles. All you can be in a row. Just make sure they're somewhere on your board. I'm gonna go ahead and start the next step of take your time doing that part. Your next step is I want you guys to fill in each circle using the paintbrushes or with your pen, however, which one's faster, with 3 different colors. So each one, I need each of your circles to be filled in with a different color. I recommend using the paintbrushes for it because it'll make it go much quicker. Or scale down your boards.
I don't like my circles.
It's okay. This is just practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. I promise you it'll become easier as you practice it. Alright, and then one more. Go ahead and go with, actually I think we're going to go with blue because I think that one pops out a little bit better. So again, doesn't matter what colors you are coloring in your circles, it just matters that they are circles and they are colored in with one solid color. Alright. I'm already done with mine, but please take your time, do not rush. Good job, Uncas. Those are really nice circles, and they're all filled in. Perfect. You did exactly what I asked you to.
Kinda.
No, they're filled in. There's our
Thank you.
circles. They're
Thanks,
beautiful.
Pete.
You're going to want to scale up your board for the next part. So go ahead and take out your maker pen and use the scale tool to make it a little bit bigger. Let me go ahead and grab a magic marker here as well, because I'm about to do this here. Nice. Yep, that's about the size you're going to want it. That's good.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's good.
Sure.
Yes, 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 yes. You guys are all doing amazing. Good job, Freckleberry. I like your circles. I like it. Oh, too late. I already showed it.
It's not amazing.
I like
it. Done.
Oh, I think I touched a board.
I don't think it's hard to follow me. Yeah, I think you're good.
Alright, Freckle, when you are done, feel free to scale up your board. I would make it slightly bigger because you are going to need to do some textures on it. Yep, about there would be good. There you go. Alright, so your next step is, I'm actually going to have you guys practice doing each of these textures real quickly. So we're going to start with our stippling. When I have you guys go on your own in the next part, I want you guys to do this in 2 steps, okay? So when you do stippling, your first step is going to color in the area with your secondary color. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just go ahead and just like quickly blotch it out and color it in. So just kind of like what I'm doing here. And then your next step is to actually just start drawing dots. And then as you're getting further away from the color, I want you guys to start making less dots. So more as you were going into the color and less as you're going out. So think of it as if you're sprinkling sprinkles on a cake. And as you're running out, so as you're getting further away from the outside, you're going to get less and less sprinkles. But you're going to have more as you're coming in. This is how we're going to make the illusion of the colors blending into each other.
Okay.
So kind of like that. But there is one more step to this before I send you guys off. One more step. Your last step when you're doing stippling is to actually take your original color, so the one you started with, mine was yellow, and go over it a little bit more just to make smaller dots. So you're going inwards and you're going outwards to blend in your dots. So you're just doing the complete opposite. So go ahead and try that one out. Pick any color you'd like. All you're going to need to do is make sure they're blending into each other. So let me go ahead and do this a little bit more. Now, if you're doing this on VR, your hands may get a little bit tired. So just feel free to take breaks in between if you need to when you're doing stippling, because trust me, you can get very tired from doing this. There you go. Good job, you guys. Yep, color that blotch in. Now this method is only really used for stippling because you will need to do a lot of dots sometimes. So if you don't need a ton of stippling done, you don't even have to do the blotching area. You don't have to color in a certain area. You can just start with the dots. But because we are coloring half the circle, I had you guys start with that. Alright, doing good, you guys. Act like you're stabbing a toothpick into a piece of paper. There you go, good job, Uncas. Freckleberry also doing really good. Remember, as you're going away from the color, you're gonna start doing less and less. So you're gonna want a lot more closer to the color than you would far away. Good job, Uncas. So remember, now that you've gone through the one color, to take your original color and go back the other way. Do the exact same thing, but go the other side. Good job, Freckleberry, making less as you're going further away. Perfect. Try to make some dots on that line that separates the two colors. That way, it covers it up a little bit.
Remember what color it was.
It's okay, just get as close as you can. This one looks like it's a blue. It's not gonna be in the custom colors. It's just gonna be it's gonna be a base color. Yeah, you got it. There you go. There you go, Freckleberry. Good job going the other way around. Good job, Uncas. Those look like some blended circles. You guys are doing a good job. Does look like an Easter egg. Super good job, you guys. You both did a really good job on it. Alrighty, I'm gonna stop you guys there because you guys already got pretty good. I want you guys to come look at the next one. Alrighty, come on up here if you can. Just take a quick look at this. Alright, so our next one we're gonna do is called hatching. Hatching is much easier than stippling because you will need less effort for it. But you don't get the same results unless you do some tips and tricks. So I'm going to show you guys first what you can do to just do hatching in general, and then maybe some tricks to make it look like it's blended a little bit. So I took a totally different color, and what I'm going to do is following kind of the shape of my circle. As you know, a circle isn't straight lines, it's a curve. I'm going to go ahead and start drawing my lines kind of like that. And as I'm getting further out, I'm drawing more separated and maybe like some thinner lines. And more as I'm going in compared to when I'm going out. So kind of like this. And again, all those lines are going the same way, but they are going in that curve. See that? That's called hatching. So a trick you can do to actually make the colors look like they're blending in a little bit more is taking a slightly lighter color and going over it as well. So it looks like the color is slowly fading out. I wouldn't do too much variance. So as you can see, we went from having just one solid color to having two. And then you're going to do it for the other color as well. So we actually used indigo here. So I'm going to go with a slightly darker color. And then go along the outside to make it just slightly a little bit textured. So as you can see, that looks more 3D than the flat circle I had before. Alright, I'd like you guys to go try that real quickly. Just start creating some lines. Make sure it only fills about half the circle because you want the colors to look like they're blending. Good job following that curve. Good job, Uncas. Remember, as you're going closer to the center, start doing maybe smaller lines, some thinner lines, some more separated than the other. Because you want it to like slowly disappear, like not as long lines. Good job, Uncas. Exactly. Perfect. Now go ahead, since you did the hatching, go ahead and take a slightly lighter color than the gray you're currently using. You can honestly just use like the value tab for that, where you go into custom colors, you turn it slightly lighter, and do the same thing you just did, but closer to the center, and on top of the other colors, just to give it a little bit of a contrast. Looking really nice, Freckleberry. Good job. Uncas, you're also doing a really good job at it. Don't be afraid to add a little bit more lines. You go ahead and just go crazy with it. Honestly, when you're hatching, don't be afraid to add on top of lines, because that's what makes the colors look like they're blended. Think of it as you're putting a piping bag on a cake and you're slowly running out of your frosting in the piping bag as you're getting closer to your center. Same thing with the stippling.
Oops.
Perfect. Uncas, can you take your original yellow color and get a yellow that's slightly darker? That'll be your last step. There you go, Uncas. Perfect. Good job, Freckleberry. That also looks really good. You both did a good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, let's go ahead with our last one. I'm ask you guys again to pause one more time. Come take a look at the board a little bit. Let's get our last color as pink. Okay, cross-hatching is the fun one. So cross-hatching is where you can go not just one way with your lines, but two ways. So let me go ahead and show you guys. I took another completely different color than what I was using, and we're going to go start it the same way that we actually started our first one, except this time we're also going to go in and do some lines going the other way. And just remember to stack your lines on top of each other and slowly start making less and less as you're getting further away from your object. As you see, I still kept that kind of curved look to it, so that way it was still a circle than rather a flat object. Your second step after you do this is actually just to do the same thing and go over with your original color again. Kind of like what we did with our stippling. The more lines you add onto it, the more it looks like the colors are slowly blending into themselves. Kind of like this. This one's the fun one because you get to go crazy with where you're putting your lines. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. All right. Any questions? You guys doing okay? All right. Feel free to go try it yourselves.
I'm good. I'm ready. Oh, let me see. I forget my color. Oh, it's red. What's goofy?
It's looking really good, you two. Uncas, looks like you're getting towards the end. Good job. Go ahead and take your red again and then do the same exact thing you just did. Don't be afraid to draw on top of the other lines. Trust me, you're going to want to.
Why is it? I feel like my lines are so much thicker than yours. Is it because my canvas is smaller?
Yeah, it looks like your circle is also smaller than what mine is.
Yeah, it's feeling clunky.
Yeah, I definitely
Like, scale it up
recommend
a bit.
if you want to try again to just scale, like make a bigger circle or scale up your board a little more. Uncas, that looks really good, by the way. You did a really good job on that.
It's so goofy.
That does look good. Get a tomato and a lemon. And an earth.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Alrighty, now that you three guys have learned all three of the steps, this is where I send you guys off on your own. So, what your next project is, which will be due by next class, is I need you guys to take your sketch from last class and start coloring it in. You aren't required to do textures yet. I need you guys to at least get some color in there. So go ahead and look at your coconut bomb, your sword, or your pistol from last class and just start taking a look at the colors and blotching it on there. If you want to do your line art, which is doing thick, darker lines on top of your sketch, you're welcome to. But just coloring it in will also be enough for the next class. All right?
Okay.
All right,
Cool.
that is due by next class, so just make sure that's done. Otherwise, that will conclude the recording. Thank you very much, Freckleberry and Uncas, for joining us for the recap class this week.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for teaching.
of course, remember to do your homework and always view the world in color and keep drawing. All right, that's it for us.